Good morning, YouTube family. I have been trying with not a lot of success to upload this video. It's particularly long, so what I'm going to do is this. It's a dream and interpretation and words from the Lord, and I know that it's something that the Lord really wants to get out. This is not even the way I normally do videos, but since it was so long, I thought maybe a voice recording would be a little more appropriate. So I'm going to attempt to do this in 3 parts. Please bear with me. It'll be the dream, and then possibly some of the words from the Lord and the interpretation, and then words from the Lord. However He sees fit to get this done. I refuse to be frustrated, so here we are. Anyway, I'm Deneen, a woman assigned as my screen name. It speaks appropriately to, who I am. I really try to keep my voice and face off of video as much as possible because I like it to be about my Father so that His children can hear His voice. But I'm compelled to do something a little differently today. So here's the dream. I woke up this morning about 7:24 a.m. And the dream was a bit of an odd dream. And at first I didn't really remember the details because I think I was still thinking about how crazy it was. So as I sat down to write what I remembered, the Holy Spirit brought most of it back to my remembrance. So here it is. There was a young man who was an athlete who had sort of an accident, some sort of an accident. What I remember is that at first they thought he was hurt. And his mother was going off. She was ranting and raving at the coach about him promising to take care of her son. The mother and others standing around, the bystanders, were assured and reassured that the young man was fine and that no harm had come to him. The next thing I saw is this young man walking on building ledges and on top of buildings. He wasn't on the ground. Actually, he was going about very dangerously. The view was sort of an aerial shot where you can see from, the side and the top angle, sort of like if you had, an aerial camera, you could catch different, different angles and different perspectives of where the young man was. Then gunfire broke out and the young man was shot. I mean, brutally shot several times, and he fell from a very high altitude. Just to give a sense of from where he had fallen, he passed a tree on his way down. I know he plunged to the ground, although I didn't see that in the dream. I didn't see him hit the ground in the dream. The young man was a close friend of my brother, and my brother was distraught. I had the sense in the dream that I knew the young man, but I wasn't as wrecked over it as my brother. Then the scene shifted, and I was at home. I then got a phone call from an anonymous person who asked for my husband. I asked who was calling, and the caller indicated that he was a friend of a friend, but that he was calling to express his condolences for my husband's brother who was killed. So now in the dream I made the connection that the young man who got shot and killed was my husband's brother. I was actually worried about my husband in the dream because he wasn't at home. And I couldn't figure out where he might have been, considering his brother was just killed. It seemed the reason that he would be at home, and want to be at home with his family. So I went to the front window to see if he had pulled up yet, but the driveway was empty. What I did see were police officers patrolling out front in the yard. They were patrolling as though they were looking for someone. So I stepped back away from the window. Then my best friend from my childhood years showed up at my house. I wasn't exactly sure where she came from, but she was there, and I was still looking for my husband. And I told her that I didn't know where he was. The next thing I remembered was hearing trucks outside of the house. So I went to the window, and I saw a huge truck. At first, I thought it was a huge tow truck because it looked like a crane device, but then it looked like a garbage truck or some kind of demolition vehicle. But it was something I wasn't familiar with. I had never seen it before. It was huge, and it had an open top with a crane arm-like attachment with a nozzle on the end, sort of a air suction device of some type. The nozzle was in my front yard, and it looked like it was getting ready to, either do some excavation, but it wasn't a digging device, but a nozzle. There was another truck that looked like a trailer used for carrying large loads. It was a heavy-duty vehicle, a heavy-duty truck. I saw a Caucasian man with blonde hair standing off to my left as I came out of the house, and he had a clipboard in his hand. I was too busy yelling at them to get away from my house, and then I threatened to call the police. They hurriedly began to get their men and leave. There were quite a few of them, especially in the odd truck. You could see them from the outside. So on the side of the truck, it was kind of like you could see them sitting in the truck along the side, like a glass or window was there. But you could tell they were up to no good. I was running alongside the trucks trying to spot a license plate number. I saw on the front of the trailer, the heavy load vehicle, the name Walker. And the license, had trailer on the top, and right underneath it, the numbers 19888. And the other contraption I saw, the odd vehicle had the name GARQ, G-A-R-Q, on the side, but the license plate number was the same, 19888. In the dream, I wasn't sure of the numbers because they were moving, but that's what I remembered seeing. I tried to find pictures of the trucks, but I didn't see anything that stood out. So I'm not sure how they may be relevant. We'll leave that to the Lord to reveal the significance if there is any. So the Caucasian man with the blonde hair came over to me and said they were American. And I wasn't sure why he said that to me because I had the impression that they were foreign, even Chinese or of Asian descent. He also said they tipped them off about your house. Then I woke up and the question I had was I under surveillance? So that's the dream, guys. I'm going to come back with, words that the Lord spoke in prayer and interpretation in the next video. God bless.